In this video, I'm going to show you some of the games we play in my elementary art classroom when we are talking about color theory. These are not the actual lessons, and these are not the actual project. These are just activities that I do with the kids to check for understanding and also to have some fun before we move into the project. The color theory projects and lessons I do are divided into color identification, the color wheel, warm and cool colors, the spectrum, mixing colors, complementary, analogous, and monochromatic. And again, I teach kindergarten through 5th grade. So I use these for those classes, but you can certainly modify these games to fit whatever grade you are teaching when you are teaching these ideas. I'm Heidi Wineland, the channel is Heidi How, and here I am putting together some color costumes. In kindergarten, I start with color identification at the very beginning of the year. This game helps identify the colors and to introduce the color wheel. It's especially helpful if you've got some non-English speakers to learn the names of the colors. So the first thing you're going to need is a bunch of colored stuff. You want it to be small, easily handled by a kindergarten or a preschooler, not likely to break, not too sharp, and also primarily one color. Like you can see, these scissors have silver on them, but primarily it's easy to identify what color we're looking at. You want to have about enough for every child to have maybe 6 to 8 individual objects to pick up and sort. After I have the objects, I mix them up into a bowl and I divide those out to however many tables I have. You don't want to get more than 4 or 5 people to a table. It's too hard to get too many hands into the box or the bowl. This year, I just laid out colored construction paper to be their sorting spots. But you could also use colored plates, colored bowls. Some years, I actually make a big color wheel for them to place the object on. And it's just as easy as can be. You demonstrate how to do it. You pick out, say, the orange pumpkin and say, now this pumpkin looks orange to me. What paper do you think I should put the pumpkin on? That's right, I'm going to put it right here on the orange paper. And what about this purple marker? So they catch on very quickly, and they have such a great time doing this. You can see this is what it looks like when they're all sorted. And then you go table to table and you talk about who got done first and what a good job they did. And let's see, did anyone make any mistakes? Oh, I see this one. Well, this one over on purple, I think we should put this over here on the red. Then you have them pick all the pieces up, put them back in the bucket, switch the buckets around and let them do it all over again. I find kindergartners like to do this at least 3 times before they're ready to move on to something else, just because they enjoy putting their hands on all of these interesting things. Another thing I have a great time doing with the little ones is making color costumes. Now, this takes a little more time and money, but it's a lot of fun. And essentially, you're just making a costume for each one of them. Once you have them in costume, you can do all sorts of things. You can line them up, put them in a circle. What I like to do is get them in a color order line and just march them around the campus and have a color parade. This is especially good if you have something in their hands that they can wave. And making these is just as easy as can be. Just go to the Dollar Tree and there are all sorts of things there that you can use to make these color costumes. The rectangular plastic tablecloths are excellent. You get one package, you can cut that up into about 8 different ponchos. I just cut them in a rectangle, put a little slit on it, and it goes right over their head. You can also, with the crepe paper streamers, you can give them in their hands to wave, you can tie a belt, you can make it into a necklace. Construction paper can be rolled up into a tube or made into a crown. You know, kindergartners love wearing a crown. The plates and the cups can be made into hats or for the wrists or just to hold. And of course, the Mardi Gras beads. Everybody loves those. Now, a tricky thing is, if you get something that comes in a set of colors, it is very often missing orange. So sometimes I have to buy the orange thing separately. But everything doesn't need to be the same. Let's take another look here, and you can look closely. Some of them have pom-poms and some of them have streamers. As long as everybody has something to wear, something on their head, and something to wave, everybody's going to have a terrific time. I remember being at car duty one year after we had done this, and one of the kindergartners so excitedly telling her parents, "I was blue." Another terrific thing to do with young kids that you're not ready to give them paint to mix yet is color mixing with clay or Play-Doh. And this works with all sorts of things. You can use Play-Doh, Model Magic, modeling clay. Now, I am not crazy about using modeling clay. The colors mix up really well, but it tends to leave a kind of greasy film. Model Magic is a little expensive, so I prefer Play-Doh. Now, I have a video that teaches all the steps of color mixing, how you can make it into a game in class. And in my video, unlike some of the others, I'm also including what happens if you add white and what happens if you add black. There are many other Play-Doh mixing videos on YouTube. So just find the one that you like. And you can do this very quickly, or you can stretch it out into a whole lesson. But here's the thing I want to tell you. Red can be tricky, and sometimes it leans a little orange. Now that's not a problem by itself, and it's not a problem when you mix it with yellow. But if your red is a little on the orange side, when you mix it with blue, instead of getting purple, you kind of get an ugly gray mess. So I always test first, and what I do sometimes is I actually doctor my red a little bit with some red food coloring before the class. It doesn't take a lot, it's not expensive, but the effect of getting an actual true purple is well worth it in the end. When we do the color spectrum, I always like to use quick sticks. This is kind of expensive, but this is the one thing I make sure that I have quick sticks for. And the reason I do is because quick sticks come with a blue, an indigo, and a violet. So similar to what I did with the color costumes, I give each person a color. And if you don't want to have quick sticks, you can just as easily do this with construction paper. You give each student the color, and then you go through some games of, stand up or line up or raise your hand or get in order to make sure that they can name all the colors, but also that they can put them in the correct order. And again, you can get in a circle, you can get in a line, you can have a parade. And like all of these games, I actually have a lesson that goes with this and a project, which I will list separately on my YouTube channel. Now that we know the color wheel and the spectrum, we are ready to divide our colors into warm and cool colors. Now, after you've done your warm and cool lesson, watching videos or doing a presentation, when you're ready to check for understanding, what you want to do is sort the students, or better yet, have the students sort themselves. So first, look at your shirt. Now this can cause a little confusion because sometimes they have hoodies on that are zipped all the way on up and they have something under. What we want is what is on the outside that everybody can see. So whether that's your jacket or your sweatshirt or your shirt, that's what we're looking at. I want everyone who has a cool color shirt to stand up quietly. Not yet. Wait till when I say, then everyone who has a cool color shirt is going to come stand in this corner. And everyone who has a warm color shirt, I want you to go stand in that corner. Now we're going to move slowly and carefully. If you are not sure if you have warm or cool, or if yours isn't warm or cool, I want you to come stand in the middle. So you give them a few minutes to stand up, sort themselves into corners, and then you can see, all right, is this right? Well, let's look at that. I think you need to be over here. And then you're probably going to have a few people who are in the middle feeling left out because they did not get to go to the warm or the cool color. And this is where we get to talk about neutrals. Of course, neutrals aren't warm or cold. These are black, white, and gray. But here's the secret. Neutrals can go wherever they want. So if you're making art with warm colors, you can use black, white, and gray. And if you're making art with cool colors, you can use black, white, and gray. Okay, so my neutral friends, you can go to whatever corner you want. And then they don't feel so left out anymore. So then everybody goes to their corner, and this can eat up a lot of time, as you know, and then we get everybody sitting back down. Now that we've done that, we can sort the supplies. And you can choose whatever supplies you're going to use for your actual project. Depending on how much time I have and how many kids I have, I'll just have them sort everything. You just need the supplies on each table, whether that's markers, crayons, colored pencils, and you need to have a tub for warm, a tub for cool, a tub for neutral. You can have them race if you want, depends on, how wound up your kids are, but just give them some time to all work together, sort of like the color sorting the kindergartners did, and have them sort them into the warm, the cool, and the neutral, and then come around and check. Now, for the older kids who are doing complementary, monochromatic, or analogous, I don't really have games, but what I do have is exercises. I always have them do a little worksheet, a little exercise to show me that they understand the concepts. And so what I have is just really easy geometric coloring. Everybody loves to color. And I let them pick their own crayons, color sticks, color pencils, markers, whatever they want to use. And the rules are you can color whatever color you want, red pencils, red crayons, red markers, as long as you are demonstrating to me that you understand what the color theory is. And then once they have done this exercise, then we can go on to the next step of the project. I hope this overview was helpful to you and that you will be able to incorporate some of these ideas into your own teaching. And of course, as always, like and subscribe. I've got a lot more coming.